Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It is Monday review time as I look back on Saturday's goalless draw with former midfielder Mickey Flynn's Walsall. Certainly wasn't a classic by any means. There were some positives and steps in the right direction from the Gills, but obviously still plenty to work on as we move on to 4 points for the season from our first 5 games. Team news arrived at just after 2 p.m. and there was one change from Tuesday night's home defeat to Harrogate Town. Shay Alexander replaced Ollie Lee in the starting 11 as Neil Harris reverted to that back three that he used after arriving in January. So that team in full was Glenn Morris in goal. The centre-backs were Will Wright, Maxima and Elkan Baggott. It was Shay Alexander on the right as a wing-back. It was Ryan Law the other side. Ben Reeves dropped into an 8 alongside Stuart O'Keefe. And then it was Hakib Adelakun and Jordan Green flanking Big Mika Mandron in attack. First half, there wasn't a lot to talk about, let's be honest. 45 minutes of a game predominantly being played in the middle third of the pitch. Yeah, that is about it, really. In terms of goalmouth action, there wasn't really any. Gills threatened to get into the final third a couple of times, but their final ball let them down. I think Walsall had 3 shots and every single one of them troubled us in the Rainham end more than it did Glenn Morris. It's just a very bitty half, wasn't it? We noticed after about half an hour that it seemed Michael Flynn's men were playing for a draw, which was really, really confusing from my point of view because 7 points from the first 4 games indicated a bright start. They'd scored 4 on their opening day. They've got a man in Danny Johnson who's in absolutely flying goal scoring form. He got 5 in his first 5 games, I think, only 1 blank all season. But they just came with an intent to spoil the game. And I'm not saying we were brilliant and free-flowing, but they took ages over free kicks. They took ages over throw-ins. I lost count of the amount of times that Bobby Madley said to them, hurry up, without actually taking any proper action. And if they weren't doing that, they was rolling around on the floor. So yeah, first half, pretty much a non-event, goalless. Second half, I thought if one team was going to win it, it was going to be us. Walsall continued in the same vein, taking ages to do everything, trying to spoil the game again. We started off with a flurry of set pieces around the 18-yard box. Free kicks for Ben Reeves, Will Wright. Corners for Will Wright, Ben Reeves. They seem to be the main 2 for set pieces now, especially with Ollie Lee not in the 11. The biggest thing that they did was Ronan Mayer trying to control the ball on the halfway line that Glenn Morris, I think, sort of miskicked. And it bounced a good 10 yards in front of him and hit him in the face. And he went down like he'd been hit by a heavyweight boxer and had to be substituted. Tells you all you need to know about the fixture as a spectacle, and that was the highlight. But we were the team that was trying to create. We were the team that was making things happen. Jordan Green and Hakib Adelakun got into good positions on the edge of the box and fired straight at their keeper, Owen Evans, who didn't look entirely comfortable. I think the one particularly off Adelakun bounced back off him and Ben Reeves couldn't quite get to the rebound before he fell on it, the keeper. Stuart O'Keefe pinched possession, didn't he, midway through the half. Bore down on goal. Could have maybe played it left to Mika Mandron, but decided to shoot himself and blazed over in a good position where he should have hit the target. The best chances were from the Ben Reeves corner, weren't they? I'm not sure whether it was our player or Peter Clark. Glancing header, looked for all the world like it was going to nestle in the far corner, just drifted out for another corner, so it must have hit the defender last. Maxima forces a brilliant save from Evans after a really, really good ball. Looking back at the highlights from Mika Mandron, who opens his body up left-footed, squeezes it between 2 defenders. Max on the spin, does pretty much all he can, keeps it low, it's going towards the corner, but Evans thrust out a big right hand to keep it out. And then the big moment right at the end, Lewis Walker had only been on the pitch a couple of minutes. I'm not sure he'd even touched the ball. He was under pressure, I think, from Mont and Daniels, 2 big, powerful centre-backs, but he managed to stay on his feet under pressure, prodded the ball past Evans and agonisingly hit the inside of the post and went to safety, and they hacked it clear. But yeah, it was us that was getting into good areas. It was us that was threatening the goal, but it wasn't to be. So it finished 0-0. Yeah, so to summarise, like I say, there's a big step forward in terms of the defensive performance. We never really looked under any threat. Their best chance to Danny Johnson came at the end, ironically, just after Elkan Baggott had been named as the sponsors man of the match and then hashed the clearance. But luckily, Glenn Morris rescued us and managed to make a big save with his right arm. But it would have been very harsh on us if we'd got beat. We deserved our clean sheet overall. I thought we made sure that they played in front of us. They never really got in behind. And aside from that stop, Glenn Morris has had very, very little to do. So yeah, defensively a lot better. But the flip side is we've played 5 league games. We've scored 1 goal against a side that's got no points in Rochdale, who've sacked their manager. We've drawn blanks in the other 4. We've only scored in 2 of our 6 games in all competitions to date. So that needs to change. We've got to get the balance better, haven't we? I think Tuesday would be a good chance to experiment against Exeter in the Cup. Maybe we could go with, say, a Jordan Green type as a right wing back to give us more thrust on that side. Shay Alexander was very defensive minded, which was fine. It was his debut for us from the start in competitive competition in the league. David Tatonda, I think, might be better suited the other side as a wing back. I think he's got more natural pace than Ryan Law. Lewis Walker probably deserves another start. He was very unlucky. Could have been an instant hero, couldn't he? So yeah. Like I say, to sum up, some steps forward, but still some real issues that we need to address, and fairly quickly. In terms of Walsall's best player, and I'm going to call this Star Sadler, there wasn't much to choose from. As an attacking force, they weren't really at the races all afternoon. We dealt with pretty much everything that came our way fairly comfortably. So I went for Manny Month at the back, who I thought was very, very accomplished on the day. Fairly solid for most of the 90 minutes that he did play. He's made 3 clearances, 1 interception, and made 3 tackles in that 90-minute stint. He was actually one of those that had a shot into the Raynham in first half as well. Ball ended up with him just outside the penalty area. And you can see what he was trying to do, trying to open up his body and bend one into the top corner, but just leant back and he went over the bar, giving Glenn Morris no problem at all. But yeah, like I say, tough to pick Walsall's best player, but I did go for Manny Month. In terms of the Gills man of the match, I thought there was a few candidates. The sponsors gave it to Elkan Baggott, got no problem with that at all. That was probably his best performance in competitive action since arriving on loan from Ipswich in the summer. I thought Jordan Green and Hakeeb Adelakun were a threat when they got the ball. Green more so first half than Adelakun, who was more fleeting, but he does look a real player. There was one driving 30, 40-yard run where he transferred the balance of play in an instant with his pace and then try to play a 1-2 with Green. It didn't quite come off the return pass, but yeah, certainly moments of inspiration from Adelakun, and he's only going to get better the more that he plays with us. But for me, it was a man that probably played slightly deeper than he's used to, and that was Ben Reeves. And it's great to see him fit and playing consistently and getting through 90 minutes because we've not seen enough of that since he arrived. And in those 90 minutes, he won 3 free kicks, 70% pass completion. He made 2 key passes to get us into good areas. He had a shot just over the bar at the start of the second half. And he's done his defensive duty as well. He's won 71% of all of his duels. He's made 1 clearance, 3 interceptions and 1 tackle as well. So for me, Gills' man of the match is a player that is excelling at the moment, and that is Ben Reeves. In terms of the player ratings for the Gills overall, it was a fairly solid performance, if not spectacular. So we had the lowest rating as 6 and the highest as 7. So we went in goal, Glenn Morris, we gave him a 7. He was one of the quartet to get a 7. He was very solid in everything that he did. And when he was called upon to make a big save, he did it really, really well. His distribution, his cooking was really good again. Did I say cooking? I meant kicking. His command and his back 3 again, wasn't he, as well? So another solid performance from the Cat. In terms of the 3 centre-backs, Will Wright 6, Max Emar 6.5 and Elkan Baggott 7. For the wing-backs, we gave Shay Alexander 6.5 on full league debut. It was a solid enough performance. Ryan Law, the other side, slightly lower with a 6. In the middle of the park, Stuart O'Keefe still working his way back to full fitness, 6.5. Would have gone up, wouldn't it, if he'd managed to smash that one in at the Raynham end. Ben Reeves, a very good 7. 2 further forward, Jordan Green and Hakeeb Adelakun, 7s as well. Mika Mandron, 6. In and out the game again. He has good moments. And other times he looks isolated and starved of service, which is something that Neil Harris does have to address, because he keeps saying that his strikers will score goals. He said it about Verdane Oliver last season. He said it this season. But we're not scoring goals enough collectively, are we? Him, Jordan Green and Scott Cashkett are all our joint top scorers at the moment with 1 each, and that needs to improve. In terms of the substitutes, we gave Cashkett a 6, and then there was no rating for Lewis Walker or David Tatonda because they got less than 15 minutes. But Lewis Walker would have got an 11 if his late effort had gone in off the post. But that is it. That was my match ratings and Boz's match ratings for the performance. Once again, thanks for watching and listening all the way to the end of the video. We will be back Tuesday. It's another quick turnaround. We host Exeter in the second round of the Carabao League Cup. Hopefully a decent performance, a positive result, and then a decent draw in the third round. That's the dream, isn't it? If we can pick up a Premier League tie and earn some money, that hopefully can go towards some sort of transfer budget for Neil Harris, because it's fairly clear that we still need a couple of players. I think we need one centre-back, regardless of whether we play a back four or a back three, because you can't go through a season with just three, and that is what we've got at the moment in Will Wright, Maxima and Elkan Baggott. So we need one more in that end of the pitch, and I still think we need another striker. We've got people that can fill in: Kashkit, Adela Kuhn, Jordan Green. In terms of out-and-out senior strikers, we've got Mandron and Lewis Walker, and we know Lewis Walker has not played a lot of senior football in England. So that's the two for me. If we can get both of them in, I'd be happy. I think other areas we're absolutely fine now. Fingers crossed we'll have the likes of Sean Williams and Dom Jeffries back for Tuesday, although I think it would be wise to probably rest Williams and give him another full week, ready for Carlisle next Saturday. But myself, Boz and Stocky will be at the ground on Tuesday for the League Cup game. Come and say hi. And yeah, like I say, let's hope that we can win the game and get ourselves a decent draw in the next round. Please keep liking, subscribing and doing all that you can. You know where we are. We are here on YouTube, so comment down below with anything that you've heard us talk about. Instagram and Twitter. Right, we'll see you Tuesday evening. Until then, up the Gills.